Hello everybody, this is Reece from NerdThings, and today we're going to be doing some more Inferno development. Say hi in both stream chat and in YouTube chat, we've got it all. I'm just setting up our layout. I've just opened up the wrong project, give me a couple minutes to fix this, but we'll be definitely joined by our co-manager today. He will be back from the hairdresser when he can, and that's going to be great. So let me open up the correct project solution. Right, once it's started up, I shall. Now, I've added a little voice thing because, just in case we have a ton of us in here, because we might be doing a NerdThings Games Night soon, you want to know who we are, so I've added that little bit there, so you can tell who's talking when. I think it looks pretty cool as well, so I'm going to keep it. And so whenever somebody joins, say I leave the staff stream chat and I disappear, and I join and I appear again. And so you'll be able to see exactly who's talking when. So Alrock will show up there eventually. I'm going to maybe make the text a little bigger one day, but for now that's fine on the stream, is it? I'm going to check the size of that. Yeah, you can see that fine. Right, so now that we've got this open, I've just got to check on my Discord messages, and then we'll be able to begin. Oh, there we go, somebody's advertising as well. Nice. Right. So, let's see. We've got one watching, which is fine. Welcome, viewer. I don't mind about how many people we have. As long as there's somebody to help me and watch me, that's fine by me. So, today we're going to be working on physics, which are a pain. An actual pain. Today we're going to be going over instances and upgrading them again. Currently I've got get all descendants. Today I'm going to be adding a position variable onto this. Basically, the reason why we're putting the position here instead of on an object is that I can get things on an x coordinate rather than everything at once, allowing me to have this a little bit easy, like a little bit easier. So if I go ahead into instance and I add this in here, why not? Right, so object in 2D space does not need to be set for regular instances. So basically for every instance that is not matter, well, doesn't matter, I should say, then it will be set to 0, 0. So there'll be a big cluster of things at 0, 0. Actually, I could just set it to null. That way I don't have a bunch of clustered stuff. Okay, right. We'll default to null. And so if it's null, then that is not in 2D space. It's just an instance that is floating about. And so now, if you go get descendants, and then I can go by X, I think. Then I can go process children X, which will have a float X, which will go if result.position.x equals X, then add it to the return value. Right, and then we can go ahead and probably get a Y in there as well. Right. Also, I want to lock the children of the instance that we're cycling over here. And so, insta._children equals true. And then I unlock the children afterwards. That basically stops this loop from failing. Because if that loop fails, then we're in a little bit of trouble. Okay, so that now should do all the x coordinates. Now we're just get all the y, because that's the one I'm going to be probably using. And then I'm going to do one more for pos. No, I'm not going to do pause. Right, and so now you can get by Y. So if we go back to object, nothing should have been broken. I can go game. No, I can just go workspace dot get descendants by Y. This dot position Y. Now then, everything on this layer, this is for vertical collisions. And then we do a position check. Target. Basically what happens here is we do velocity correction. So basically if we're going to end up inside of something, we take one off of the Y. Like if we're going to be inside of something on the Y, then we remove from the Y or add to the Y depending. And if we're going to be inside something on the X, then we add or remove to the X depending on whichever direction we're currently travelling in. And so that's what we shall do for the target position check. That just makes sure we don't have any glitches where somebody gets stuck. So what we do for the horizontal collisions is not going to be done yet. So what I'm going to do first of all is for each all on layer, no, instance lay inst in all on layer, even though it's not really a layer, then I will do basically touching solid. So I create a fake bounds and then I go fake bounds.y plus 1. Basically this will make check down the way. And so this was the touching solid down. And then we'll do touching solid up, because we don't want to touch something above us either. And so we shall do this first. No, that won't always be the case. Then we get and then we go and get lay object. There we go. And then we go, if it contains that, then we go touching solid down equals true. So at the very beginning we will reset. No, we won't. So every time this is run, it will set it to gravity. I don't want to, but I do want to increase it by gravity. And then grounded is equal to false. I need to apply that, otherwise every tick it's going to increase it by gravity. Should be a bigger number. So That's not what I want to do, is it? I want to do something a bit not like that. You can't see anything. I'm an idiot. Is that better? I am the worst. I'm legit the worst. Oops. Right. So now that you guys can see, we can continue. So, basically I did this. This is all I've done so far, basically. So, I'm checking that it's a subclass of object, making sure that it is supported. Then I will, what should I do in this case here? Then we can do fake bounds. And then we shall determine whether or not we're touching solid up. So if we're not touching a solid down the way, no, else we must have hit the floor. Okay, so if you're not touching it down the way, wait, we want to do, if touching up, solid up, vertical velocity will now plus equal gravity. No, it's going to equal gravity. We cancel out any jump force that has been applied. Because if we apply a jump force, then that's not going to go very well. So, because then you're just going to jump right through the block. So, when we set gravity, that allows it to stop moving and just go down the way again. And then else if, right, so, and not grounded, that's an important bit. Else if not touching solid up does nothing. Meaning if we touch the roof, actually I'm just gonna make this a bit more perfect logic here. Else touching solid up and grounded. I'm just gonna make this more clear. Grounded is equal to true. I don't need to set, but that gets set. Hang on, I can apply the vertical like the up and the down separately. So this will be the down logic, and then this up logic can go on this bit. This else statement will not exist. Basically, no, it will exist. It will just be default grounded. Must be true. I'll make sure it satisfies the request actually. So if you're touching a solid up and you're not grounded, grounded equals true. No, solid down. And then let's go vertical velocity equals 0. No. We want to make sure that you're not jumping. So so you're just defining the fact that you're grounded. And so if you're not grounded, then you don't add on gravity. So the next vertical velocity will always be okay, right? So I set vertical velocity, reset them. And then I check them before applying them. And then I should add a jump event. Like, this can be overridden, I think. I'll add events on it as well, so like jumps, etc. I'll just do a full-blown control layout on this so that you can move it around effectively. So there'll be a public. So I want to add a public float walk speed equals 2 pixels a frame. Public float jump equals 5 positions a frame. Now that'll be applied in negative because you're jumping up the way. Right, and so now that'll be logic that I'll apply later on. Don't need that extra logic because that makes no sense because it'll just be changed again because it's already been reset to 0. If you're touching a solid down and you're not grounded, then we apply the grounded logic. If you're touching a solid, if you're not and you are grounded, then you're not grounded. And if it's higher than 0, so if you're not falling down the way already, which doesn't make any sense, we can remove that logic. Vertical velocity now, we'll add that on. Alright. And then, so if you're not touching a solid down and you're not grounded, then you apply force. If you're not touching a solid force and you are grounded, then we fix that. If you are touching solid and you're not grounded, then we set the grounded. Everything else should be covered by that. Everything else shouldn't break from that at all. So if I was to test this, it should work. So if I go and place an object in our test game. So if we go create an object. And then, no, we need a sprite as well. So we'll go create an object. Alright. Actually, no, I'm just going to apply this as generic code. I'm going to go into the object code, and then on the update as well, at the very top here. Right, we need to do that. Right, and so then I update the positions in all these instances. That looks perfect. And so if I go back to the game now, I don't need to set the position of this, even though I do anyway, just as the initializer. Then position is equal to sprite position, because I'm being nice. Mass is equal to 1. That doesn't mean anything yet, but jump speed doesn't need to be set. Is solid equals false. Supports gravity equals true. Right. Right, so if I hit F5 now, X does not exist in the current context. That's because Y exists instead now. I should just see this fall. It doesn't exist anymore either. Right. Right, so what's happening here is object position is the same, mass is 1, supports gravity true. This is the object. Calls update. If it contains workspace, which it does, then if it supports gravity, oh, I'm not even applying the force, am I? So let's just go no check yet. I'm just gonna go this dot position equals no. Right, and so now what happens here is I update. I've not got a check yet, but I just update the position. That's not done anything yet. This should work though. None of my output is being called. Oh, so I didn't add any in the end. Let's just see if it is actually being applied first. Okay, and then if I move this another line, it's checking if it supports gravity. If it does, then it will apply. Yeah, right. Next of all, set. That will still work. Okay, so that's fine. So that's being called. All of it is being called. That tells it to fall, as does that. I don't even need this condition because I can remove the not grounded. If it is not touching something, then it is doing that. And then if it is touching, I don't even need to do that again. These are too overcomplicated. So if it is touching a solid up, doesn't matter if it's and not grounded, that's the key part. And that needs to be dealt with here instead. Otherwise, we could apply gravity before we finish this logic up here, which defines if we're grounded, because we don't know if we're grounded yet. So now that's done there. Fall, and then I shall apply fall there as well. If you are touching a solid up, and you're not fall if you're not grounded, and you can fall. This needs to be an else condition now, actually. I could merge it into another. I could merge it again. No, this is better now. So if you are touching a solid up and you're not grounded, put this at the end. Now this will only get called if none of these conditions are correct. And so if that's never going to happen though, is it? God's sake, right. Let's think about this. If we're not touching solid down, we do all that, and then vertical velocity equals gravity if it's not grounded, but it's already been applied. But we're resetting it back to just gravity. That will work fine then, I'm thinking. Just telling it to fall. Let's see it print out its position. Let's just see if it is changing place. Yes, it is. So why is it not updating the sprite positions? No, I'm just going to simplify this logic. I don't care if it is anything now. I'm just going to go and apply this to any class. If it's parented by an object, then the object is the main controller of the positions. So that should now be moving. But it's not. If I go into sprite just to see if there's another extra stupid bit of logic here. That's the wrong sprite. Updates and it checks if it's drawable, sprite.position. Position is needing to be overridden. Right, so now get and then set will go like that. So now that gets overridden. That no longer needs to be done. So now this should work. I got pinged. Still doesn't update. So let's see if pause change is getting applied at any point. It should be called. It's not though. No, that's applied there. In the jaw. That's bad. No, it isn't. If it's off screen, then don't continue the animation. That's something I need to decide on. I've not decided on whether or not I'm going to draw the animation or not. I think I should continue it, because if it goes off screen and then continues back, that would look a bit funny. So I should continue updating animations, etc. And so that should now... that should update the position anyway. Right, so if I go console, right... Right, so now we should have two positions being drawn. They both should be the same, but they're not, meaning update position is not working how I think it is. So it's object not updating everything else's positions. So for every descendant, which should be process children, blah 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 blah. So we get all the children. And this is just go children, then process its children, and then add the results. So whenever process children doesn't find any more results, then it will descend, and so that should return descendants. Okay, it's not getting anything from get descendants. Right, so it should go process children, this. Didn't find a child. Am I just being an idiot and not applying? Object add child sprite. So object is definitely beginning a child called sprite. Adding child bad sign there. So child has not been queued, it's been added. Get descendants should process every child. It's called 5 times, meaning it's found 5 children. Which is weird. It shouldn't. Right, let's get a different approach. Get children. Get children. Try that approach. To see if we can get the position to update. Oh, hello. I've added the wrong ones together, haven't I? Right, so now it should fall. Wrong. So that's a bit fast. Maybe I'll just turn down Workspace's default gravity. That's okay. I'm adding time and stuff onto it later, but for now, that works. Now I need to add on a solid object. Right, so if I go and create a new sprite just to reset it, just in case it creates a new instance. Right, and then I shall create a new thing at position. How big is bad slime? Where did I store it? Oh god, I remember that. They're not even meant to be there anymore. Bad slime, if I go into that folder. No. I don't have the original content anymore, do I? Oh, there it is. Test PNG. What are the dimensions? Doesn't tell you in there anymore. Jeez, oh. It is 64 by 64. So if I go and make it, there should be another slime directly below it, and it should not fall. It fell? Let's just disable gravity on that for a second. Why is there only one of them? Oh. Right, so should now be one on top of the other. Okay. Let's go. One and two. Okay. Let's do that, and then let's enable gravity. Fell straight through. Meaning definitely Get Descendants is broke. Get Descendants will process the children, and it will grab all of the children out of the instance, and then for each result in processing them. I'm not actually adding anything to the collections, am I? Because, right. Okay. Now I should be able to see this work, maybe. Now it's just not falling. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? It's not continuing past this. It never ends, the collision check. Oh. Maybe this would work. Right, it still falls. Right. Might need to also be checked against being a direct object, because it might not be a subclass of one. Fake bounds is no. Bounds is no. What? Bounds should be automatically generated based on the sprite when it's created. Oh. So I need to configure the bounds in this as well. Oopsie. Right, so it's 64 by height is equal to 64. X is equal to Oh, I need to find another bug that I'm gonna know. Have the fun of is let me just do this on this one as well. My next issue is that it's gonna always collide with something, because if you haven't been noticing this already, and lay-inst not equals this, because this will also come up in the search results for get descendants by y. So I need to make sure it's not this either, this object. Arg, arg, arg. Still fell. Okay, so true doesn't even show up. I'm not having any of this nonsense music on my channel, thank you. Get out. It's better. Right, so let's keep the convention. Public velocities aren't a good idea. You're gonna need it. Right, so right. Okay. So, what I might want to do then instead is I want to find the distance and see if it's within my bounds. So The logic here is if it's higher than or equal to 0, then that means the distance is no distance between the bottom of us and the top of them. And if the distance is smaller than the bound's height, that is because if it's a smaller gap than how high we are, then we're going to move in nicely anyway. Then I just reverse this to be, I calculate layer object dot bounds dot y plus layer object dot bounds dot height minus layer object bounds dot y. And so this checks for the distance between the bottom of their object and the top of ours. And then fix y is equal to negative distance. No, because it will already be. No, it won't be a negative, will it? Because I'm finding out from him to us, so it needs to be made negative. Try that. Hello? I could get to console right line the position again. It's still falling even though touching solid down is true. Down distance isn't called, which is probably not good. Bounds.y is never being updated. Okay, right. Okay. And then if I make this object not solid, it should fall straight through. But I've not added logic for handling solid or not solid yet. But that's better. If it's not solid, then continue. It will not calculate yes or no or any of the fixings. Okay. Right, that's good. And then if I go back into my game and say it is solid again, it stays put. That's good. That works. Okay, so that's half of the collision system done. That is half of the hard work. That is the most difficult bit's done, actually. That is impressive, is what I'm going to say. It's not that much code when you think about it, it's just logic. It's just very complicated logic, basically. Right. I just put basic and complicated in the same sentence. Oh me. Where is my mobile phone? I'm going to put it on charge. That's not my mobile phone, is it? 1 second. Found it next to a stick of RAM. Let me plug it in. Cool, so should I do horizontal? I'm gonna do the check first. No, because the check is fixed with a fix, so I don't need to do check. Right, so I call posits up that there, and then I call it after that, and then I get override draw as well, just to add that in there so it'll update the positions for it as well. That will just fix any little mismatches between the object and the sprite. So that's good. Right, now I need to simplify this up a bit. Now you don't need to supply an X and Y, or do that. That's what I'm going to do. So this equals new bounds straight off the bat. Does bounds explicitly set the defaults? Core rectangle. So where's core rectangle defined? This is a bit of a mess right here. So I create a 0 rectangle just to make bounds a bit more working, and then update position is good. Okay, so what is happening here now is okay, the weight is mass multiplied by gravity. Right, the mass two times height divided by 9.8. Height fallen. That's not very useful. Right, so what is the velocity of an object that has travelled x meters? So if it's travelled 1 meter, then object has a velocity that much per second. Right, that's not useful, is it? And so my velocity that's going to be applied will then be modified by gravity for velocity. And so that won't work for what I'm doing then, or will it? Looking for mass. How does mass affect fall speed? Hmm. Hmm. Let's just come up with a way of making it look realistic, because obviously we're not doing air resistance. So let's say the mass Spacing garbage. Let's find a bit random one there. That's fine. Right. Right. Let's see. Right. Vice manager's not. Vice co-manager's not online yet. So, well, he was in the barbershop last time. So, anyway. So mass. So and then multiply by the mass. So now object mass makes it fall quicker. So if I go into game 1, currently it is 1 mass. So if I hit F5, it should fall normally. No, it won't, because I'm setting this to 0 right there. So if I set this to false and I start this up, it falls like that speed. If I set mass to 2, this is not physically correct, like as in physics logically correct, but it makes it a bit more realistic in the fact heavier things will fall it'll look like they fall faster. I wonder if it's actually being applied though. Let's go to object. Right, this should go really quick now. I put it in the right place. Yeah, it's just gone. And that will keep on falling infinitely. Because the workspace does not have checks yet. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a public right, and so if boundaries not equal null, I can get my descendants crawler thing back basically. But I'm going to adapt this. Right, remove that. Right, so get children. Add that, and then check for destroy. And then current instance dot destroy. So if the X position is higher than the bound, so if it's higher than the height of the box, or is higher than boundaries dot y plus boundaries dot height, its boundaries will generally be null. In my game, it will be null, but this is just an option where it will destroy instances that are out of range. It's just a kind of like Let's go like merge this down now. So now, if it's out of position, destroy the lot. But that's not going to happen in my game, because that's a bit destructive. I'd rather be careful, never mind. Right, so I'm going to move on to movement so I can test horizontal collisions. And so okay. Right, so now, if I told it to jump repeatedly, so if I go into game, so when I click this as well, what it'll do, and in space I can just do right, so let's try this. Where'd it go? Oh, hello. WAN doesn't appear to exist. Game.workspace.wan. Alright. WAN isn't in game, he's in workspace. What? I use the capital W. So now he will be able to infinitely jump because I've not added any jump restrictive logic yet. Or so I thought. Jump will set apply jump to true. Didn't implement apply jump. Well, that's going to come down here after this. Alright, this should let me hopefully jump now. Where's it gone? Right. Let's just make its mass 0.1 now, so it falls really slowly so I can actually see it. Obviously I've given it a stupid jump height of non-existent, I think. Jump height will generally equal I'll make it jump 32 a whole tile in this game. You can obviously change these defaults. It's coming up with the right settings. Obviously this is on a small scale, so it's going to move one tile because of my course correction stuff. I could make it so that it makes sure... I might make it more smooth. And so what I can do, maybe... say distance is lower than 1. And so it must be 0 or 1 for it to be touching. Maybe that could make a difference. Yeah, look at that. Now it applies... Now my jump is being applied more than once. Because I'm not resetting the variable if I can't jump. Right, so instead of setting them all at the bottom, Right, let's have a look at this. That's good. Obviously it's falling at a 0.1% of gravity. So if I knock this back up to be 1... Oh, hello. What's happening here? Um... I think I broke something. What did I break? Maybe it's because I've not updated the bottom collision setting. So if I go, say, 1, close, like that. Let's see if it's that that's broken it a bit. Oh, what? What? What have I done here? Oh, heck. That's not right. That's not right at all. Let's have a think for a second here. That only would happen because when I jump, I'm applying another bit of gravity, and so... Okay, so when I... This bit worked fine. The second I implemented it on here, things went to hell. So if I'm calculating the distance between my bottom and the top of the next thing... Shut up, that didn't sound didn't sound weird, trust me. Then I'm finding something below me and I add on my distance, then it must be 1 before it to be that. I would say it must be gravity. Must be lower than or equal to gravity. So if I do end up having issues with gravity, then it has to be lower than or equal to it in order for it to be standing on it. So that way I'm not gonna... Am I jumping higher each time? No, right. But I need to also apply multiplied by mass, otherwise... Right. And so now, it'll make sure that you can't fall any further onto it. Okay. So if I set a really small mass... So you jump up just instantly, which is weird. But we can live with it for now. I'm actually okay with this. This looks okay. This jump needs some work though. Maybe not such a powerful jump now. Maybe if I apply it a little bit, so maybe it's a jump 16 and move 8. I think it's just because it's got such a high jump. So I'm jumping an entire tile. Obviously this will look better on a higher scale. Right, let me implement left and right so that I can work on the collisions, because that's going to be the hardest bit. Now I'm going to go A. I'll change that to W. Oh heck. Right. Need to do a little bit more improvement on the camera to see like, decides on if it's durable. I think that'll be a better thing. So if I go and do that and then find the errors. Do I have a bounds on this? No, right. Right, cool. So now I create new bounds inline. Right, so now when I do that, I'll just find all the rest of the errors. How did I work around the sprite's issue with positions? Oh yes, I just said it. Let's do that. This text label will just update position. No, that's not how I'm doing it, is it? No, not at all. Okay, so I want to do draw does that already for me. Okay, so new bounds. This is outdated code here, so it's not done yet. Right, I'm gonna move it onto that, so then that custom apply, otherwise it won't work on the other one. So if it's in the GUI, this would stop working. Where am I doing this now? Sprite.position. Doesn't sprite.draw check if it's drawable? No? Okay then. Well, copy that. Look, there we go. F5. And now when I move to the side, I shouldn't just disappear randomly. Yeah, there we go, and then I get stopped drowning. Why can I do this? It's pretty cool, but why am I not falling? Okay, Durable needs a bit of extra logic still. So basically that makes sure that both edges are not visible. So now it just doesn't random disappear on both sides. Awesome. Let's add a little bit more logic to moving, so before, like, I'm gonna end this once I've done this. I'm gonna end this stream here, but I'm gonna improve jump speed off camera, etc. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to move this here, remove that, and then cut it out. So I shall place it after the horizontal collisions. So currently I don't have the horizontal collisions, but once I do. Okay, this works good, so I'm going to leave this. Don't need that comment there. And then the position fix basically, because if I do another gravity turn with that multiplication of mass, then what's going to happen is I'm going to glitch through. And so what I do instead is I move by fixing the Y by a tiny bit. And this doesn't get affected by touching like another roof or doing anything. This is permanently fixed. Because we want to fix that little weird gap. So now my last bit of logic is, and grounded. You can't move if you're in the air. That's going to be a rule. This could be a generic rule that applies to every game. You can't move if you're jumping. So if I go up, I can't move until I come back down. That's actually junk. Never mind. That's legit junk. Jump still needs some work. Because jump, currently it goes up, but not very well. I might add some sort of timer or something like that. And add like a minimum jump time before you can fall again or something like that. But I like what I've got here now. This, all it needs now are all I need now are the horizontal collisions and maybe a few adjustments to make this work fairly well, and obviously to fix the very, very strange me being able to float even though there's nothing there. Like, so this is perfect now. Apart from the fact I'm not falling down, I should be. But again, this is a work in progress. I think we've made some groundbreaking progress today. We are now able to move around, which is more than we've been able to do since August. When I started this, you wouldn't be able to move, you'd just be able to draw pictures. This is the farthest we've came, and this is now really close to us being able to start our next game. Because once we get this out of the way, we have... If I go into the GitHub real quick... I go into Inferno. and then I go into projects, runtime. This is all I've got to do left, and then that's it. That'll be us ready for releasing a game with it. So anyway, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next stream. Goodbye.